request to avoid endangering U.S. troops. How can you say we have a fair and free media? How can you say that the New York Times, that mainstream media does not serve the interests of the state first and foremost? This is why these days it's like you have to get your news from journalists that have left to go be independent. People like, a Ken Klippenstein, those who are, they're great journalists. They are first and foremost concerned with exposing the truth and informing the public. And they have to go to a place like Substack or Drop Site News, The New York Times and Washington Post learned of a secret U.S. raid on Venezuela soon before it was scheduled to begin Friday night, but held off publishing what they knew to avoid endangering U.S. troops. Two people familiar with the communications between the administration and the news organization said. I mean, these people should be tried. Like these media actors should be journalists. There need to be consequences to this. The decision in New York and Washington newsrooms to maintain official secrecy is in keeping with longstanding American journalistic traditions. Even at a moment of unprecedented mutual hostility between the American president and a legacy media that continues to dominate national security reporting. When you are assisting the state in crimes, in unlawful activity, you are complicit. When you manufacture consent for it, you are complicit. And we've talked about this over and over with Israel. It offers a rare glimpse at a thread of contact and even cooperation over some of the highest stakes American national security issues. President Donald Trump and top administration officials Saturday praised the stunning seizure of the Venezuelan president, which Trump approved at 10:46 p.m. on Friday, citing both the lack of American casualties and the total secrecy surrounding the attack. But it's totally fine. It's totally fine for Venezuelan lives to be destroyed, for people in Venezuela to be killed. That's fine, as long as, American troops are protected. The coordination, the stealth, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on display in the middle of the night, Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth said. Hegseth did not mention that part of that secrecy was the news outlet's decision. Unlike other countries, the U.S. does not have a mechanism for the government to protect publication of secrets. How are we any different than these countries where we go, the media is state sanctioned, it's controlled by the government? So is ours. Look, I know America doesn't give a fuck about our hypocrisy and about pointing fingers at the projection that we do, but it's absurd. It's absurd to look around the world and try and say anything about, China, for instance, and go, oh, China controls their media. What the fuck do you think we do? It's just like how we don't have bribery here. It's lobbying. Yeah, we don't have bribery because bribery is illegal. We have lobbying, which is legal, even though, legal in a sense, but also they're doing illegal things as well. But also the legality is immoral. Hegseth did not mention that part of the secrecy was the news outlet's decision, to hold off the reporting for several hours after the administration warned that reporting could have exposed American troops performing the operation. Wait, somebody else said exactly what I said. Maybe someone on WAPO staff did the Polymarket insider trade. Could be. Could be a lot of people. A lot of possibilities. It's probably Donald Trump Jr., if I'm being for real. Note to leakers who want things published, send to Drop Site News. Yeah, I mean, this is the state of journalism. This is our media now. Principled journalists, those who are seeking to actually fulfill the role of a journalist have to leave these legacy publications. They have to go truly independent. They have to be supported by the people. Fox News out there making any type of state-owned media a run for their money. And the thing is, though, is everybody likes to point fingers at Fox News, but you watch look at fucking CBS News now. But you look at CNN, you look at the New York Times, you look at Washington Post, you look at these outlets that are liberal, and there's no difference. It's the same way too how Donald Trump, what he does, it's not off track from what other presidents before him and other administrations have done. It's just that he's so blatant about it. He's so overtly aggressive and doesn't give a fuck about not saying the quiet part out loud. But look, every single Democrat in office confirmed Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. Marco Rubio is the architect of the overthrow in Venezuela. And he was confirmed by every single Democrat. So this is not just when talking about this, like, it's not just only focusing and condemning Donald Trump for his role in this, but the liberal establishment as well, who have always played a key role, whether or not a Democrat is sitting in the Oval Office. And where's the fucking European Union? Where's the EU? They're not condemning this. They're not resisting this. For all their waxing poetic about international law and rules-based order, for respecting the sovereignty of countries, for ensuring the right to self-determination. The Eurocucks.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious.
Yes, because God forbid, Venezuela has a leader that's not the U.S. government. That's not Donald Trump. So we have to. It's the only way.
Transition. And it has to be judicious.
Yeah, real judicious.
That's what we're all about.
We want peace,
Roe doctrine. Liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to.
Also, I know, again, they don't give a shit about hypocrisy, but just can we for a moment talk about the fact that you have Trump and everyone else who's supporting this, who have been crying for years about the American election being stolen, and then trying to just all the hypocrisy in this, and then being like, and then stealing elections themselves, stealing elections themselves, turn around and be like, but see, it's not fair. This election was not legitimate. Maduro is not a legitimate president. It's all everything that we do, we just turn around to and point a finger and go, they're doing it. Yeah, stealing, claiming elections were stolen when they weren't, actually stealing elections, gerrymandering the fuck out of states that have already been gerrymandered to hell, stealing Supreme Court justice seats. New York opinion section less than 1 month ago. Trump picked this fight with Maduro. He can't back down. Of course. Who wrote this? Let me guess. Wait. Is it Brett Stevens? Ricardo Hassman. Actually, no, Brett Stevens would have been more aggressive about it. Ricardo Hassman and Jose Morales Arilla. Trump picked this fight with Maduro. He can't back down. Okay. That's how that works. No, Brett wrote the case for overthrowing Maduro last month. Yeah, I was like, no, he would be much more overt in his salivating at the mouth to do another coup.
Their country, it's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a...
This is just Iraq all over. Oh, you mean America as liberators? We sure do all this liberating all over the place, and yet nothing and no one seems to be actually liberated. Do I think that this will tank his approval rating? No, I don't. I don't think his approval rating will go lower on this. And that's why I keep talking about the fact that if you can't understand why, if you can't understand simply that America's foreign policy is destructive and dangerous and is done always in the interests of a few, that, going into Venezuela and just despite who it is, Maduro, whoever else, and despite, whatever qualifiers there are on the current state of Venezuela, that this is not something that should be done. And people who don't understand that, because they still hold on to this belief that it is good, it's good for the people there, and it's good for them. It's like, okay, let's just narrow this in on you here in America. Genuinely, you need to look around. Do you have more money? Do you have access to the, having your needs met? Is that become a reality? Are you seeing tangible benefits from this? Are you seeing material benefits? No. But that's the difficulty here. People who just buy into this over and over again, who believe all the propaganda, who truly still believe in this idea of America as liberators, as protectors, as, Donald Trump, the peaceful president. Have we talked about WAPO having the story that this was taking place and didn't publish the admin's request? Yeah, we just talked about it.
Proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust.
Yeah. Do you think your gas prices are gonna go down? That you're gonna see, forget about everything else, but just gas, right? Because we're talking about oil. Do you think that taking control of Venezuela's oil reserves, do you think that's for the benefit of America, of Americans who buy gas to put in their cars? Do you think that's the case when Trump is explicitly talking about the oil companies? Do you think these companies care about you paying less? Can you drink oil? Don't try
a long
it.
period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place.
Okay, usually I ignore this stuff, but this is W Invasion. Somebody who made an account, Hasan shocked Kaya. When your entire worldview, when your entire life revolves around your hatred of a Twitch streamer, when your perspective on global events, on Venezuela being bombed and invaded and taken over by the United States all revolves around a fucking Twitch streamer, you are such a loser! It is a level of patheticism. It breaks me. It breaks me. It breaks me. Oh my God. If I even try and understand what it must be like to be a person like that, I simply want to die. Internet hero triggers Caroline, huge W. When the way you speak is in WL, you look at everything in this world and you go W or L, you're pathetic. It is so embarrassing. You're an adult. Unless you're 12, and don't say you're 12 in chat, you will get banned. Unless you're 12 and still, cut it out. Cut it out. Oh my God, the concept of looking at what's happening and going, W invasion. Do you even know what anything means? Do you even know your own name? 6-7 W invasion L Hasan. Your ancestors would probably want to find a time machine so they could travel into the future and abort your ass. They'd be like, you have brought shame. Shame to this lineage. Once upon a time, we were forging in the barren wastelands. We made fire. And you're out here speaking in W's and L's. And your entire life revolving around somebody who streams on the internet, who don't know you and you don't know them, who should have who should not be that important to you to drive you to behave like this. You know what? W fire. You know what? Fire? That's a W. Congrats you on the go the fuck outside. I mean, at this point, it's like, go the fuck outside brave the elements and let nature do what nature should do. Let nature do natural selection. You will not survive. Go stare into the sun. That's my new touch grass. Because touch grass is not enough. Like we're past that. All right. For these chatters where we go touch grass, like go outside, be normal. No. It's now stare into the sun. Go do what Donald Trump does. Yeah. Go tell us if the Mariana Trench is
We're going to
still thriving. Go see if you can survive in nature. There's a challenge. Yeah, it's not just touch grass. It's like, hey, walk into the woods and see if you can do anything. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say.
Have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
Out of the goodness of their hearts. ExxonMobil is going to go fix Venezuela because they care. Because they're just that kind. You know what? We should start handing out Nobel Peace Prizes to oil companies.
Ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared
See if you can vibe out a bit.
do a second wave. If
oh my God, Alexandria,
we needed to do so, we
thank
actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave.
This was just a taste.
Probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people.
The concept of coming here, everybody who comes here because America is so, is so wonderful, because it's it's at the end of the yellow brick road, and not because a lot of them are fleeing the destabilized countries that are their homes, destabilization that is in effect because of decades of the fuck ass shit that America does. For decades and decades, going into countries, fucking them up, leaving people with oftentimes without any option other than to leave and have to go to the place that is largely responsible for why they had to flee in the first place. Running from America by going to America.
From Venezuela that are living in the United States, extremely happy. They suffered. So much was taken from them.
That's why it's like all these hogs who hate immigration, who look at, fleeing brown people and go, criminals, they're all invasion at the border. Wouldn't you think those people would be against interventionism, that they would be against the activities of the United States government and its agencies in these countries that then is producing is producing migrants who are coming here.
Going to suffer anymore.
Maybe a little consistency.
Does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the
Grim
ground.
note, thank you for the prime.
We're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it, but we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make
American dignity more important than Venezuelan lives. It's like, oh, no worries that 40 people are dead. Probably more to come, because at least we have our dignity. First of all, no, we don't. Second of all, just the dismissal, the absolute lack of giving a shit about human lives that were snatched, that were killed.
Make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. You know, they stole our oil. We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it.
It's not Venezuelans. It's not Venezuela's oil. It's actually our oil. It's actually ours. It was stolen. All the oil out there, it belongs to America. So you can't steal what was yours to begin with. The concept of stealing something that was yours. They stole our oil by putting their country on top of it. Yeah. Hello. Don't you know America first means any resource in this world, America first owns? Those were American dinosaurs, brother. Yeah, those T-Rexes. Those T-Rexes had MAGA hats on. Okay, they were buried in shrouds of the American flag.
About it, we're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
Are you explaining the exact mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official to coordinate?
It's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
You know what microorganism and MAGA have in common? They both start with M.
That would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely going to be, for a period of time, the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead, you know, I talk about a dead country.
Not a marble.
A year and a half ago, we were a dead country.
Flip it around.
The hottest country anywhere in the world. We're a country doing better than any country anywhere in the world. And it required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there, a lot of bad people that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance that one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at, and others, we have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in our country that were forced out of Venezuela.
Rubio would be...
You said earlier today that you weren't going to back...
Wait, so what all these chuds always scream about how these immigrants just get given money from the United States government, that liberals are just handing out tens of thousands of dollars to immigrants. Hold on a second. Trump standing up there being like, we're going to reimburse Venezuelans. We're going to give Venezuelans money who have come to America. Wait, buddy, I think that's something that your people are always screaming about. One reason that they voted for you is because you kept telling them over and over again about how evil and wrong all these immigrants getting just so much money from the government is.
Machado.
What does he mean, running things? Oh, he means exactly what he says.
The vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you
with
foresee
Trump?
the
There's no like reading between the lines.
But she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her.
Oh,
and she's
it's in
essentially
good
willing
hands.
to do what we think is necessary to
Going zero,
make
think it's
Venezuela
win.
great again. Very simple.
How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want
Canadians are sorry. Think of the 18 months.
So I'd like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. You know, we're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous. It's blow up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground. Can kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country. Yeah.
What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of Venezuela?
That you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time. It was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace, and you're going to have safety.
But this is how we do America first. This is, kind of the definition keeps changing, but this is America first. America, first. America's, first.
You're going to have justice. You're going to have a country. You're going to have a real country. You're going to have potentially a great country. If you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country, and they destroyed it. Remember I said that
Who's they?
We lose
Hold
this
on.
election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what would have happened. Had we lost the election, the 2024 election, we suffered so badly. When you look at the border from 2020, what they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms. I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what would have happened.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio?
The crash out is real. Representative Mario Diaz-Balart slams a reporter who accuses him of not supporting Maria Corina Machado.
Why are you not willing to support Maria Corina and Mundo to be?
Oh, wait. Hold on a second.
Whoa!
First, you're talking to us?
Yes.
When have we ever not supported it? No, wait. But let's look, these are serious issues. Do not put words in my mouth. And do not, no, wait. But you said us. You said us. You said us. Okay. But it's I will not tolerate putting words in my mouth or my colleague's mouth. Yeah. We have been consistent from day one. And I am convinced there's going to be a transition. We already talked about that. And I'm convinced that when there are elections, whether there are new elections.
Wait. Well, Donald Trump did say he thinks it'd be very tough for Maria Machado to be the leader because she doesn't have the support or respect. She's a nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect. Because remember, she's a woman.
To take the old elections, the last elections, that the next democratically elected president of Venezuela is going to be Maria Corina Machado.
Why are you not willing to support Maria Corina and Mundo to be?
Oh, wait.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't put words in my mouth. Yeah, give it 2 seconds. Like, truly with these people, it's like, just give it 2 seconds. Give it 2 seconds, and it won't be words being put in their mouths. It's their own words. Is Machado the one who won the Nobel Prize? Yes. Which, shame on the Nobel Peace Prize Committee for essentially giving its endorsement to the attack on Venezuela. So the EU, the Peace Prize Committee, both parties in the US government, congratulations. When Machado ends up not being installed, these people will move the goalpost again.
Are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S.
Isn't the current president of Venezuela a woman now? The current president was Maduro, who is now sitting in a prison cell in Manhattan, New York. Did you mean the VP? Oh. I was like, there's currently no president. Did you read Macron's tweet? Yeah. I said the whole thing here, the reason that we're talking about this is because the president has been cooed by the US government. Not even not even in some sneaky ass operation. I saw on Truth Social that Maduro could be trans IDK. Sure. What the hell? Yeah, that's what's happening over there on Truth Social.
We have to do it again. We can do it again, too. Nobody can stop us.
Easy. Thank you. It's 24 months.
The capability that we have.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. So him saying we can do it again, too. Nobody can stop us. So this is the American exceptionalism doctrine. This is the mentality. This is something that we have maintained, and our operations are, our operations are done with this mentality that nobody can stop America. So we'll just do it all again. It's just that Donald Trump says it openly.
When I watch that war in Russia going on and on and on, and everybody dying, and it's
God.
It's primitive. It's primitive. It's horrible.
Oh, everybody's dying in Ukraine.
But we can't take a chance after.
Yeah.
military
They're going
troops
to be
to
a
provide.
team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro. And right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil company.
Do I think that the VP worked with the CIA? No. Also, here is Delcy Rodriguez addresses the nation, calls for Nicolas Maduro's release, says the country will never be a colony of any nation. Rodriguez says Nicolas Maduro's instructions have been given. Let us go out to defend our homeland. Also, wasn't her father was tortured to death by a CIA-backed Venezuelan regime. So, yeah, I think right now she's trying to keep herself from also sitting in a cell right next to Maduro, or keep herself alive. I mean, Trump literally just said here she has no choice. he's saying that oh, she's very gracious, whatever. She has no choice.
In the world go in and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also, I can't stress this strongly enough, the people that got thrown out of...
No, but I think the chatter was asking, you know, do you think the VP secretly worked with the CIA to overthrow Maduro, to, you know, with some idea that she would be the president of Venezuela then, as like some power grab? No.
Venezuela that are now in the United States, and frankly, some want to stay and some probably want to go back. Yeah.
What's being done to protect Americans?
Yes.
Is the U.S. aware of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Mr. President.
Machado was probably working with them, though. Oh, absolutely. No, that's not even a probably. 100%.
Mr. President, on Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within, or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect to be the
Mr. President, is it possible that the U.S. ends up administrating Venezuela for years? You know,
well, you know, it won't cost us anything because the money coming out of the ground is very substantial. So it's not going to cost us anything. We will. Well, we want safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies all over the world. That's what was happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be a very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries, and we also have to have energy. Very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. You take a look. It was such a disaster.
Share the stress
what's
ball.
What's going to happen with Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year, is going to be a great thing.
Love this
and the
thing.
people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiaries.
Mr. President, you referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of button this up? Do you envision the U.S. military having a presence in Venezuela as the U.S. runs that country?
No, we're going to have a presence in Venezuela as it pertains to oil, because we have to have, we're sending
We
our
gotta have that oil, that American oil.
So you may need something, not very much. But no, we're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground. And that wealth is going to the people of Venezuela and people from
that's
outside
American
of Venezuela
wealth.
that used to be in
You're
Venezuela.
welcome.
And it goes also to the United States of America in the form of reimbursement for the damages caused us by that country.
We are now in a phase where we don't even get empty lip service anymore. There's not even the attempt for any pretenses, we're adhering, we care about international law. We care about democracy and we're going to uphold. No, we're not even getting, we're at a stage of like, man, I guess not that things really were different, but man, I pine for the days of pretending like we gave a shit about international law even when it wasn't actually being adhered to. They didn't even bother with keeping up the drug charades. I know. I miss being lied to. Cocaine up the ass is a weapon of mass destruction.
De la supuesta premio Nobel que habla de la paz.
Okay, wait, what's this guy saying?
Que habla de la paz. Al ver que su país, que Venezuela.
Where is the statement from the supposed Nobel Prize winner who speaks of peace when her country, Venezuela, has been attacked by U.S. imperialism? Where are you? Yeah. Our peaceful president and our Peace Prize winner. Where are those countries that have remained silent in the face of this situation, this circumstance? We as a people, as working men and women, demand respect first. And second, we are in the streets. First, because we believe in democracy. And that's the other thing too, is y'all gotta pay attention to who is being propped up by the, political and media class. What class of Venezuelans? And Venezuelans are they're not a monolith. The class system exists in Venezuela. So do you think that the lower class, the poorer Venezuelans all have the same interests and beliefs as the ruling class, as those as those who are in a completely different resourced world as they are? First, because we believe in democracy, just as we went out to vote on July 28th for President Nicolas Maduro, and just as all sectors of the country recognize his victory. Today, we demand that the U.S. government, imperialism, and all the transnational corporations that we know very well are behind all this return President Nicolas Maduro to us safe and sound. Do you think that these people don't have the right to decide for themselves that they should just lay down and allow America, even if you buy into the bullshit that America is intervening with for beneficial reasons, do you think that they should have a choice over whether or not they get to have a say in things? That they get to have that self-determination? That they get to, do what they decide in their country?
Del país reconocieron la victoria. Nosotros hoy exigimos al gobierno norteamericano, al imperialismo y a todas las transnacionales.
And that's the other thing too, is that you can't look at how America operates in our own country and think that the reasons that we not even provide anymore, but the reasons that we use for what America does in these other countries, like, it is at all legitimate. We can't point fingers when a lot of what we are pointing fingers at is what's happening here in America.
Que sabemos muy bien que están detrás de todo esto, que nos regresen sanos.
What exactly is the U.S. up to in Venezuela? A New York Times report from 2018 claims that the Trump administration held secret meetings in 2017 with Venezuelan military officers to discuss their plans to overthrow President Nicolas Maduro. That would not have been the first time a U.S. administration has meddled in Venezuela's affairs. In fact, U.S. involvement in Venezuela dates back decades.
Well, it's not new, as the history record proves.
GDF just dropped a video. Do you want to watch it on stream? What is GDF? I'm just gonna say I'm just going to say again, okay. So this is my take, and I think it's the take. I think it's the position to have. Nothing else matters except for the fact that America cannot and should not do this. So y'all are trying to provide justifications, even if you're also going, yeah, I think this is bad, but like there's still the justification. No, there is none. This is dangerous. We are setting dangerous precedent after dangerous precedent. It is unlawful. It must be stopped. This is open-ended, aggressively violent intervention. We have no right. We have no right morally, legally. That is what you have to focus on here. That is the only thing that matters. Why are we not centering these people and these states' right to sovereignty, to self-determination? Why is that a footnote? Why is that not even considered? Like this, I'm going to say it over and over again. This is illegal. It is unlawful. There's no loophole here. There's no moralizing here. There's no getting out of it. I love GDF, but no pressure. Actually, they have some videos. You guys know I'm kind of still new to YouTube. So if you think it's a good video to watch, I'll check it out. Here's the link. GDF. Goddamn fresh. Goddamn fresh. All right, I'll watch this one because that AJ video, that AJ video is 6 years old. Not that it's not relevant still, but I shall check out GDF. Yeah, so I am anti-imperialist, and you should be as well. You should also recognize that we know the reasons for why America is doing what they're doing, and if you don't support that, which you shouldn't support that, then that's where it begins and ends. Like all the reasons that I have given, that's all that matters here. Nobody elected America to the world police. Nobody is like, oh yeah, America, they don't have to follow rules-based order. America doesn't have the same confines. The American empire exists in a world of its own. No, why? I genuinely feel insane watching everyone try to justify this. Can you imagine someone kidnapping Trump? Like, I wouldn't support somebody, a country bombing the United States of America, even though I fucking hate Donald Trump. I don't support, not that any, this is not because of America's position in this world. This is not our reality, unlike, Latin America. But no, I first and foremost believe in our right as Americans, and that right needing to be upheld, this so-called democracy, in determining our future, our reality. And granted, there are a lot of obstacles, namely corporate power, that makes it difficult. Things are not fair. It is not fair and free. But that doesn't mean that another country, especially when that country would be doing so, if we're using this as an example in the way that America operates, doing so because it's for the moneyed interests that have power in their country. That it's not at all for it's not at all for our benefit. It will only make things worse, and a handful of people get richer.
Why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is
TK,
because we want to surround
17
ourselves
months.
with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure we can protect it.
If history offers any lesson, it is that U.S. presidents have sometimes turned to foreign confrontation in search of political relief. With low approval ratings and looming midterms, Trump could be tempted toward such a show of force. The recent U.S. strikes on Venezuela and the reported capture and removal of President Nicolas Maduro, announced by Trump early on January 3, 2026, invite comparisons with George Herbert Walker Bush's 1989 invasion of Panama and the capture of Manuel Noriega. Here's what we know so far about the attack on Venezuela this morning.
Over the course of the night, aircraft began launching from 20 different bases on land and sea across the Western Hemisphere. In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night. The force included
Okay. Let me just point something out. Which is how I know those of you who are trying to argue in chat right now that it's good for Venezuela are so fucking full of shit. Okay. Because here's one example. They already chose against him twice. Plenty of Venezuelans are celebrating this. Monroe Doctrine. And then the last comment they say is, get that oil, Donnie. Fuck off. Get the fuck out of here. 80% of the population lives in poverty. They've been waiting for the fuck out of here. You are so full of shit. You are so fucking full of shit. Oh, yeah, we're supposed to believe that even though you're wrong to begin with, that your motivations here are that you care so deeply about abuses happening in Venezuela, that you care about the Venezuelan people who have been suffering both, socioeconomically, which also has been contributions from sanctions and regime changes and coups, thanks to the United States, that you care so much about Venezuela. You are so morally clear here. You have no other motivations. You have no other allegiances other than to the people of Venezuela. They will greet us as liberators as we liberate their oil from them. See ya. Get that oil, Donnie. Okay. The same Venezuelans that they call illegal aliens who are coming into this country to like rape and kill our women, criminals. The invasion at the border. I see you. You ain't slick. Okay, you ain't slick.
22s, F-35s, F-18s, EA-18s, E-2s, B-1 bombers, and other support aircraft, as well as numerous remotely piloted drones.
Like, I know you probably have the corporate picture printed out of the executives at ExxonMobil and have it up on your wall, and you're like, these are my heroes. Every day I wake up, I defend them with my life because it shall trickle down, because my bills will surely be cheaper. I pray to them every night. They are my liberators. I feel like I'm going insane. Thank y'all for being the community that makes you feel most comfortable in solidarity. Love y'all. Much love to the Venezuelans right now. Yes, and I will say again, I said this earlier, but my solidarity is with the people of Venezuela. And as an American, I believe in your right to be in control of your country, not the United States government, not fucking ExxonMobil. Solidarity with y'all, and even to Venezuelans who, if they are publicly saying right now that, sharing their experiences under Maduro, my position as an American is always going to be, I do not support my government coming in, bombing, invading, cooing, regime changing, resource seizing, exploiting, destabilizing, denying immigrancing. Liberating. This really isn't a huge surprise. It's just the shock of like what's happened in the last 24 hours that they actually succeeded in it. But they have attempted in the past to go in and kidnap him and bring him back to the United States to try him.
It is pretty remarkable. I want to go to Omar for a second as we're watching this happen.
Omar, and it's also that they killed up to 40 Venezuelans so far.
This is a Saturday night in Manhattan, and this is just an incredible law enforcement, likely again with the now ousted president of Venezuela having traveled here. Describe the scene for us. This is somewhat surreal.
It really is.
Mad
and for
C,
those that
thank you
have
too much.
even just been passing by on the street, I mean, you see a lot of things in New York City, but the amount of police and law enforcement presence just in this part of Manhattan is even mind-blowing for those that live here in the city. And if you were following that the motorcade essentially that appeared to hold Maduro and his wife, but they have all cleared out of this area. It was that quick, and I can tell you.
What are they charging him with? They are charging him with drug trafficking, with running a drug trafficking operation, with narco-terrorism, weapons offenses.
When we were a little bit closer earlier in the day, we were able to get basically right up to the heliport area. We saw them sort of what appeared to be tracing a path from the exit of the heliport through the gate over there. And the way they positioned their vehicles, it appeared that it was just going to be a very quick transfer from that heliport into the vehicles, pull out, and that is exactly what we just saw happen a few minutes ago here. Yeah. And as you saw,
I didn't even know we could do something like this. Do you mean legally, or we have the ability to do so? Because those are two different things. We have the resources, we have the military power. Legally, no, what has happened is unlawful. So no, there is no, it's brazenly illegal what is occurring. And that's one of the major problems here is, yet again, America is signaling that we don't give a shit about international laws. We don't give a shit about dangerous precedents because no one else is allowed to do these things. but we're allowed to because we are the world defenders, the world police, American exceptionalism, rules-based order for everyone else except for us. Also, Israel, yes, but I always consider Israel to be, a part of the United States. So, yes, also the way that Israel operates with their flagrant violations of international law, but Israel is not the power that the United States empire is. Right-wing presidential candidates in Colombia literally have been chanting Trump do your thing, and radio hosts openly supporting intervention here too. This is what they want. They now need to be questioned. Do you know what's fucking crazy is one of the only people who, yeah, she's horrible. She's obviously, a far-right fascist, but Marine Le Pen was one of the few European leaders who had any condemnation for American interventionism, for denying sovereign states their sovereignty. The fact that her statement put, the liberal leaders to shame, people like Macron, because she's well, yes, but still, it's just, it's twisted. Yeah, I know. I don't think it's because she is morally, I don't think it's because she's morally, righteous or consistent in her beliefs in human rights or self-determination. She's not woke now. She's not woke now. It's like Marjorie Taylor Greene, how I will never be like, you know what? I think Marjorie Taylor Greene's on the team. No.
The level of law enforcement
now a
presence
Maoist
is going down
world,
the West Side
third
Highway, from the armored
worldist.
vehicles to that variety of law enforcement. It's astounding to see on a city street here in New York, Jessica.
Yeah, it certainly is. I want to go back to John Miller, if he's still with us, because I have another logistical question for him, John, which is, when I lived in D.C., you were used to seeing motorcades, and they were very used to clearing streets there. Obviously, New York can do that because it gets its fair share of dignitaries as well. But to move through the New York streets like this, what does that take for law enforcement? How do they keep everybody safe?
MTG for president of Venezuela.
And I say that as someone who used to be in charge of these movements for various presidents, including presidents of the United States. This is a very experienced team. The NYPD Highway Patrol team is used to being able to freeze a route or navigate a route that's unfrozen. In this case, the route between where they landed and where they're going was frozen. They have a lot of experience in that, and that's for dignitaries. This is different, Jessica. This is a high-threat prisoner charged in a major narcotics trafficking.
Why are they asking these questions? Because they're doing law enforcement glazing. Because they're trying to craft the narrative that it's really cool and awesome, and that America is super tough, and that they're already, writing the dialogue for the Hollywood film that is made out of this and starring Chris Pratt and CIA Kaczynski,
who happens to be formerly, as a few hours ago, president of a sovereign nation in our region. So that is very similar to what they did with the El Chapo situation, where you had the head of a major cartel. This is the kind of person that had a lot of money behind them, the resources to arrange people who could either attack such a motorcade, try to free a prisoner, try to stage a breakout. So layers and layers and layers are added on. We saw a lot of them right there in terms of the armored vehicle, the counter assault team, in case there was an assault on motorcade. The numerous blockages of
boys
traffic
in
between
blue,
where they are and where they're going. But that is something that they've experienced, and you will see that as they move from that jail to the court for the arraignment on Monday. And if there's a trial, you may see it on a daily basis.
Right. It's really fascinating. All right, John, thank you. I do want to go to Jim Sciutto as well as we're watching this play out. Jim?
Jessica, I would just say we have to remember how we got to this moment of those helicopters landing on the West Side Highway. Nicolas Maduro was president of Venezuela, a Latin American country of tens of millions of people.
Okay, yeah, the Sacklers point, obviously the Sacklers point, but also Trump just pardoned. He just gave a pardon to, what's his name? The former Honduran president who had been sentenced to prison on cocaine distribution charges. Oh, yeah. Okay. So when it's somebody who can offer Trump something as an ally of his, who cares about drug trafficking? He was convicted of conspiring to bring in 400 tons. Do you know how much cocaine that is? 400 tons. That is a lot of 8 balls. It's a lot of cocaine. Yeah, that's an amount of cocaine that Stevie Nicks, who did so much cocaine, she blew out her nasal passages and had to have someone blow cocaine up her asshole. She would look at 400 tons and go, that's a lot of cocaine. That's a lot of cocaine, bears. $400 tons is more than 800,000 pounds. It's like you can't even conceptualize how much cocaine that is. Why the hell would you want cocaine up your butthole? Because you want to do cocaine and you can't do it up your nose anymore.
Well, until this morning, when he and his wife were taken out of their bedroom by the U.S. Delta Force in a highly complex military operation to, in effect, decapitate the leadership of a major country in Latin America. It is a remarkable...
You get high faster too. Your butthole is way more vascular. And let me just say, this is not trying to encourage people suddenly boofing cocaine up their buttholes. Okay, I'm just please don't have that be your takeaway. Don't be like, oh, your butthole is more vascular, and you can take cocaine up the ass and it will hit you faster. Oh, no, please don't.
The ending, but just next chapter, right? This arrival in New York for prosecution in an enormous event with a whole long list of questions still to be answered.
That's where the term crack cocaine came from.
Of which is
not quite,
who's going to replace Nicolas
LOL.
Maduro, and who does the U.S., which carried out this operation, want to replace Nicolas Maduro? Because
Trump.
It was the position of the Trump administration till a short time ago, till weeks, perhaps months ago, that it should be the opposition. For instance, the Nobel Prize winner, Maria Corina Machado, and there were public statements of support. Those have waned. And today, this morning, the president, as he announced this operation and Maduro's removal, was praising Maduro's deputy, the vice president of that country, Delcy Rodriguez, saying that she wants to do everything she can, and I'm paraphrasing to some degree here, to make Venezuela great again. This is quite remarkable if that would be this administration's position.
We're going to make Venezuela great again because that's going so well in America. Are we great yet? Have we become great again yet?
To prosecute Maduro, bring him to the U.S., replace him with a vice president from that same regime. We'll see. And then we'll also see what the U.S. investment is going to be in assuring such a transition or moving on to new elections. He says he's willing to put U.S. troops on the ground. How many and for how long? Quite a remarkable several hours here, given what we're seeing now in New York, but what it means for what Maduro left behind.
I just can't. I can't get over the fact that Trump, being the way that he is, has it's like comical how much he has undermined this this bullshit talking point about, oh, drug trafficking, cocaine distribution, trying to make this about drugs, trying to be like, we're dare, when he also, as I said, convicted the former Honduran president with the 400 tons of cocaine, and has said openly, publicly, how much he wants to get his hands on oil reserves. And he is he's saying that United States oil companies are it's Christmas, that they're gonna get involved in Venezuela's oil company. But I thought this was about drugs. Hold on a second, I'm confused. Wait, I'm hearing one thing in the media, but the president is saying another. Okay, this is what I wanted to look at earlier. New York Times WAPO learned of the secret U.S. raid on Venezuela soon before it was scheduled to begin. Oh, is it one of these journalists who was the Poly Market Better or whatever? Yeah, made $400,000 off money. It could be anyone. They learned of a secret U.S. raid on Venezuela before it was scheduled to begin, but held off publishing what they had at the administration